Let's talk about getting disgustingly rich as a programmer. It's the big question, right? Today, we're taking 5 of the most common ways to make money with code, and we're putting them head-to-head in the definitive tier rank, from the absolute god tier S rank all the way down to F.
I mean, come on, let's be real. That's the dream, isn't it? Turning all those long nights staring at a screen into a literal pile of cash? But there are a bunch of ways to try and do it. So which ones actually work? Well, that's exactly what we're about to find out.
All right, let's meet our contenders for the crown. We've got bug bounties, the path of the ethical hacker. We have freelancing, the classic hustle. There's hackathons, the weekend warrior approach, the good old stable job, and of course, the one everyone dreams about, the SaaS dream. Let the games begin.
So how are we going to judge this showdown? We've got 5 simple but crucial criteria. First, realism. Can you really make money this way? Second, effort. How much of a grind is it actually? Third, money potential. What's the absolute ceiling? How rich can you get? Fourth, time to first dollar. How fast can you see that cash? And finally, maybe the most important one, luck. How much of this is totally out of your hands?
First up to the plate, bug bounties. I love this subtitle, getting paid to tell companies they suck at security. It's kind of like being a modern-day digital bounty hunter. You find the flaws, you report them, you get the reward.
So just to be clear, a bug bounty is basically a cash reward that big companies will pay you, an ethical hacker, to find security holes in their systems. You find a weakness, you tell them about it before the bad guys do, and bam, they cut you a check. Sounds pretty good, right?
And when I say the money can be good, I mean it can be life-altering. Just look at this number. That is not a typo. $2 million. That's what Apple might pay you for finding one single critical bug. That's buy a private island kind of money.
But, okay, here comes the cold, hard dose of reality. This data from HackerOne, one of the biggest bug bounty platforms, tells the real story. Sure, the top 1% are absolutely crushing it, pulling in over 350 grand a year. But look at the other end of that chart. A massive 84% of people are making less than 20,000 bucks. For most people, it is a ton of work for very little payoff. And that giant gap between the dream and the daily grind is exactly why bug bounties land in C tier. The potential is through the roof, absolutely. But the floor is basically in the basement, and you have to be a top-tier security expert just to even have a chance.
Okay, let's move on to contender number 2, freelancing. The concept is as old as time. You know how to code, other people and businesses don't, and they will happily pay you to build websites, apps, or whatever else they need. You're the expert for hire.
Now, here is the secret that nobody really tells you about freelancing. The coding? That's the easy part. You already know how to do that. The hard part is everything else. Suddenly, you're not just a programmer. You're also a salesperson, a designer, a project manager, and your own boss. You're running a one-person business.
And this quote just hits the nail on the head. You could build the most technically advanced, feature-packed app in the world, but if it's ugly, you'll probably lose the job to someone who made a simpler app that just looks beautiful. It's kind of shallow, but it's totally true. Presentation is key. So where's that leave us? Well, for its incredible money potential and how realistic it is, freelancing gets a solid A tier. The path is actually super clear. Get really good at a skill, build a portfolio that looks amazing, learn how to sell yourself, and you can make some serious cash.
All right, next up, hackathons. Think of this as programming on hyperspeed. You and a team lock yourselves in a room for a weekend with a ton of coffee and pizza, and you try to build something cool from scratch to win a prize. It's high energy, high pressure fun.
So what's the one big thing hackathons have going for them, financially? The speed. We give it a 9 out of 10 for time to first dollar because, in theory, you could walk away with cash in your pocket after just 48 hours. That's pretty much instant.
But, and you knew there was a but coming. While hackathons are fantastic for your career, you learn a ton, you network, you build your resume. As a way to get rich, they're just terrible. The prize money is usually pretty small, you have to split it with your team, and let's be honest, your chances of actually winning are slim to none.
And for that reason, when we're just talking about making money, hackathons get a big fat F tier. Sorry, but it's the truth. Go to them for the experience, for the connections, for the fun. Just do not go expecting to get rich. It's not going to happen.
All right, let's talk about the one most people probably have, a stable job. I know, it sounds boring. It's the opposite of the passive income dream. You show up, you go to meetings, you get a paycheck. But do not sleep on this one. its power might just surprise you. Now, the upfront cost is pretty steep. For the really high-paying jobs, especially in specialized fields like AI or machine learning, you might be looking at a decade of school. And yeah, you can be self-taught, but that path is often a much harder, steeper climb to the top.
But here's the thing. Once you're in, the payoff is insane. And more importantly, it's reliable. We're talking stable six-figure salaries, often straight out of school, with your total compensation easily climbing into the seven-figure range over a career, thanks to things like stock options.
And that is why the stable job gets our one and only S-tier ranking. Yeah, it's the shocker of the day. But when you look at the facts, high realism, huge and stable pay, and very little luck involved compared to everything else, it is, hands down, the most reliable path to building serious wealth as a programmer.
And at last, we've arrived at the final boss, the SaaS stream. You know the fantasy. Build an amazing piece of software, have people pay you a subscription every month, and make money while you sleep. It is the ultimate goal for so many of us.
But let's get real about what that dream is built on. Your idea and your ability to execute are important, sure, but they are a tiny piece of the pie. A staggering 80% of what makes a SaaS successful is stuff you can't control. Perfect timing, going viral, and just pure, dumb luck. If anyone tells you otherwise, they're probably trying to sell you a course. So you end up with this massive trade-off. The money potential? It's a perfect 10 out of 10. There is literally no ceiling. But the realism? It's a 4 out of 10, and that might even be generous. For every success story you hear about, there are thousands of failures you don't. The odds are just brutally stacked against you.
Because of this extreme high-risk, high-reward dynamic, the SaaS stream lands squarely in B tier. The potential is completely unmatched, but the insane amount of luck and effort required keeps it from the top spots. It's a fantastic dream to have, but it's a very risky main strategy.
So let's put it all together. Here is the final leaderboard. At the undisputed top, in S tier, is the stable job for its unmatched reliability. In a strong A tier, we have freelancing, a fantastic and realistic path. The SaaS stream sits in B tier, the ultimate high-risk, high-reward lottery ticket. Then we have bug bounties in C tier, and hackathons bringing up the rear in F tier. So after all that, the final question really comes back to you. What's your style? Are you going to play it smart and take the S-tier path of a stable paycheck? Or are you going to risk it all for that B-tier moonshot? There's no one right answer, but knowing the real odds is the first step. So, what's your path?